Hello and welcome to this tutorial on how to sew a zero waist here dress with ruffles. In this tutorial I'm going to show you step by step how I sew this dress so you can follow along and create a dress of your own. For this dress I used 2.5 meters of cotton fabric, but you can also use any other kind of woven fabric. As you can see here, I divided the fabric into 8 rectangles and I cut 2 for the shoulder ruffles at 17 centimeters width, 1 rectangle for the bodice at 27 centimeters width. I cut 2 rectangles for the first skirt tier at 32 centimeters and 3 rectangles for the second skirt tier at 42 centimeters. All of the rectangles include 1 centimeter seam allowance. After you cut the pieces, place them right sides together and sew loops for every piece. I'm doing this for the shoulder ruffle, bodice and skirt tiers separately. After that, I'm finishing off all edges with a zigzag stitch. You can also do this using a serger if you have one. Okay, so this is what we have now. We have our top ruffle. Right here we have the bodice, the first layer and the second layer. And the next steps are going to be that we want to sew in the elastic for the bodice and for the top ruffle, and we need to gather the skirts in order to attach them to the previous layer. Right now I'm sewing the tunnel for the waistline where we want to insert an elastic. The tunnel is 1.5 centimeters wide. Okay, so now we're going to sew the bodice. For this I've already prepared a few things. I cut 2 elastics, one which is roughly the circumference of my shoulders and the other one is the circumference of my waist. This one is going to go on the bottom of the bodice, and I already sewed a 1.5 centimeter wide tunnel and I left a gap on one side to insert the elastic. So you can do this now, depending on the width of your elastic. Mine is 7 millimeters wide. You can sew a tunnel to the bottom of the bodice piece, and then I sandwiched the bodice between the top ruffle piece, and I already pinned the top. The plan is to sew a tunnel at the top by using both pieces, the bodice and the shoulder piece, and we're going to sew the tunnel like this, and be careful to leave about 5 centimeters of each side of the bodice to leave it out, because this is going to be the part that goes beneath your armpit, and it's also going to make it easier to sew the rest of the shoulder piece, because we also need a tunnel here, but the bodice piece is not going to be included. And also be careful to leave a gap because we need to insert the elastic. So I'm going to do this now. I'm going to fold it over 1.5 centimeters and I'm going to leave a gap and sew all around the top part. After sewing the tunnels, we are ready to insert the elastics. I use a safety pin to wiggle the elastic through the tunnels. It's a bit tedious, but we only have to do it twice. Now, I'm closing the elastic loop by sewing both ends of the elastic together. You can try the top on now to check how it fits. Afterwards, close the gap you left for inserting the elastics. Now that we finished the bodice, the next step is to gather along the top of the first and the second tier. For this you can use the longest stitch on your sewing machine and gently pull the thread after you've sewn. For gathering the second tier, which is very long, it's better if you break down the gathering stitches into 3 lines instead of sewing all around the skirt, because you don't want to put too much strain onto one thread when you're pulling it later. After gathering the skirt tiers, sew the second tier to the first one, by aligning the lengths of the gathered edge of the first tier to the flat edge of the second tier. Do the same thing for the first tier when attaching it to the bottom of the bodice, but be careful not to sew the elastic encased within the tunnel. The last step is to hem the skirt and shoulder ruffle pieces. And the dress is done. Enjoy your beautiful zero-waste dress. Thank you for watching, and if you like this video, make sure to leave a thumbs up and subscribe for more sewing tutorials.